Hello and welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlanda Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. And oh my word, number one, did you love Mary Catherine King's message last week? I just had to have her fill in. We were having a messenger DM conversation about her son Hayden, who's a senior cheerlifter at Indiana University, and then the whole IU football team and the coach and the fans and the losingest team in college football history, and they made history. And if you missed it, I want you to go to the Facebook group that our amazing Christy Eggers keeps up for us. There is a recording of it. It's called Mentioned on the $1 Million Message. You just have to run there. Don't walk, run. As if your football career depended on it, and go listen to it. And then what a game, right? I mean, I could do literally my whole message on the game and how the Hoosiers beat Miami. And yes, I do live in Florida, but I am a Midwest girl at heart. My mom is from Indianapolis. So had to root for the Hoosiers. What a story, what a team, what a game, what a finish. I was wanting to go to bed early that night, but there was just no way. And what a quarterback, right? So what a coach, what a quarterback, what a team, the whole thing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mary Catherine, for sharing your perspective on it. And I could just talk about that forever, but that's not our conversation today. Our conversation today stems from a chat that I had with Maddie, my daughter, who's 15, and it was Wednesday night. And I'm at the stage now with my kids that it reminds me a lot of when I was a teenager. They tend to really want to kind of open up and chat later at night, and I'm already in bed and the lights are off, and they like to come in and just kind of lay across the bed and talk. And so that's what she did on Wednesday night. And we were just talking about friends, and we were talking about relationships and all those things. And I just said to her, Maddie, do you know the difference between thinkers and feelers? And she was like, no, we hadn't talked about that before. So kind of explained to her a little bit about them. And we were talking about, the way that you just intrinsically, without even realizing it, the way you respond, the way you react, the way you feel, the way you treat other people, the way you perceive conversations, the way in which you lead. And it typically tends to be either with your thoughts first or with your feelings first. And so it was funny. I tend to be a thinker. And she said, what do you think I am? And both at the same time, we both laughed and said, you're a feeler. And I told her, don't change. This is how God created you. And I said, and it's one of your greatest strengths. And then she looked at me, she goes, and one of my greatest weaknesses. And I said, how about one of your greatest opportunities instead? So anyways, we had a really great conversation about it. And I said, by the way, there is a third category that when you're doing this type of self-growth work, self-improvement work, not everybody necessarily brings in. Usually it's just the two categories, but there is a third. And she said, well, what's that? And I said, well, it's the doer. And those are the people that really don't do either one first. They just take action. And that's really what I think the heartbeat of my message is today and what I want to share with you today. By the way, if you're not sure which one you are, thinker or feeler, one thing that's just kind of interesting to notice is if you start conversations with, well, I feel like, or if you start a conversation of, well, I think that, so just kind of notice that. And yes, we are usually drawn to the opposite person. I always think of Jerry Maguire, you complete me, right? Okay. So here's my message for you today. At the end of the day, if you have goals and dreams, we're still at the beginning of January. It doesn't really matter if you're a thinker or a feeler. You have to be a doer. So again, just to kind of break them down, thinkers live in their head. They analyze, sometimes overanalyze. They plan, they research. Their motto is, let's think this through first. Thinkers are brilliant. They see other angles that other people miss. They protect from bad decisions. Their fear or their weakness or their opportunity is maybe that they fear looking foolish or making the wrong move, or analysis paralysis. So sometimes they think so long that the moment passes. They can be perfectionists. Feelers live in their heart. They care deeply about people, connection, and meaning. Their motto is, how will this affect others? How will this make people feel? And they bring the warmth and the purpose. They remember the why. They notice things about people. Their fear, their challenge, their opportunity is in rejection and conflict. And sometimes they feel so much that they hesitate to move to. And then there are the doers. The doers live in their hands or their feet. They execute, they move, they try. Their motto is, let's get this done. They're not perfect. They can be messy. Sometimes they act before the consequence is even considered. But here's what they have that thinkers and feelers don't. They have momentum and they have movement. So what does this apply and how does this apply to us today? So whether you are a director, you've got a big unit, a large team, whether you're a recruiter with a small team, or maybe it's just you solo building your career right now, usually there's a mix of all three. And sometimes your inner thinker right now could be really loud. Again, analyzing, planning, replaying scenarios, and the kiss of death, waiting for the right time or when it feels right. And that leads to this feeler. How will it land? How will it feel? How might this affect relationships? I don't want to feel pushy. Their confidence. And sometimes, and what I pray happens for you today, is that your inner doer says, okay, enough thinking, enough feeling, it's time to move. Because if you only live in your head, you'll always only be in preparation mode. And if you only live in your heart, you'll only be in intention mode. So we've got to get things going. All right. And the reason I was thinking about this is in some of the leadership conference recaps, I was noticing a theme, and the theme was whether it was the National Sales Directors Emeritus now, Emeriti, whether it was the nationals teaching the classes, whether it was the top directors, is that every single one, it was not a story that they could share or wisdom they could share because of something that they overthought or something that they felt the whole time. It's because they got out and they did it, regardless of either one. And they all had doubts and they all had questions and they all weren't sure. But at some point they said, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it new. I'm going to do it with obstacles in my way. I'm going to do it, with my family. I'm going to do it. I don't have a family yet. I'm going to do it with my job. I'm going to do it, all those things. They were just going to do it. So the only way that you're going to get results, is if you do. Get out of your head, get out of your heart even, and get in action. We don't need any more information. We don't need any more training, and you certainly don't need permission. You just need brave, perfect-ish action. It doesn't mean you're not going to be scared. It doesn't mean that you have to know for sure. It just means that you need to be willing today. So I ask you, are you willing to try? Are you willing to learn as you go? Are you willing to get the confidence that's going to come after you start into action? So what's the thing that you need to do? We don't need to pray about it anymore today. We don't need somebody to talk you into it. You don't need to be inspired or motivated. You just need to do something today. The call, the booking, the follow-up, the post, the party, the restart. It doesn't have to be everything today. I need one doer decision. I was going to say in the next 24 to 48 hours, but within the hour that you hear this call. The thinkers are just going to make plans. The feelers, they're just going to have that meaning in there. But the doers, they're going to be the ones with the stories. And they're going to be the ones that make history. And that's you. All right, my thinkers. All right, my feelers. Let's all be doers today. Make it a great day.